Yes, guys, good morning and welcome to today's video. So today we're going to discuss 15, yes, 15 very specific steps to success in 2025. Now, ultimately, the first one and most impactful one that kind of relates to all the other 15 steps as well is our results in life, in fitness, in relationships, in business, fat loss, whatever it is we want to achieve, will 100% be down to the decisions that we make. Now, some people have thrived this year and gone to brand new levels. Some people are slightly ahead of last year. Some people are exactly where they were at this exact time last year. And some people have ultimately gone backwards. Now, what you say yes or no to is the critical factor in what's happened this year. So many of us find it difficult to say no, right? No to other people, no to social occasions, no to food, no to giving up, no to absolutely everything. But we also need to channel this and say, well, actually, what do we need to say no to? But also, what do we need to say yes to? Now, the example I can go through this at the moment is, I've spoke to numerous people in the past 2 or 3 weeks that have ultimately, I think, already had 6, 7 or 8 Christmas occasions, parties, curries, meals out, festivities, weekends away, this, that, and the other, and kind of playing the little violin of it's so hard for me. I've got so much on, and I've got such a big family, and I've got such a big social group, and X, Y, and Z. Bullshit. It's not hard for you. All of these social occasions can happen without alcohol and without going crazy on food. Like a great example is you can go to any meal in any restaurant at any time and pick steak and vegetables, sea bass and salad, whatever it is that would allow you to perfectly stay within your nutrition plan. I didn't miss any social occasions, including weddings, including my own birthday, my partner's birthday at the time, when I was prepping for the British final. I went to the occasion and I made the decision. I can sit here and I can drink water and I can order 3 fillets of really nice sea bass with a medley of green veg and stay completely within my diet plan. This is what I mean about the decisions. Like you make a decision to go to the event and drink alcohol and eat shit. That's your responsibility. Doesn't mean you don't have to go and say no to the event and not go and feel really awkward. And, if you do experience that and feel that, well, you're kind of saying, I'm putting how other people feel about my actions over and above my actions and my goals. And that's probably the biggest thing that's holding you back. So there's either two things here, right? And you have to be honest with yourself and you have to take ownership. Either you really want the body, you really want the energy, you really want the progress, but you weren't willing to go to the meal and choose the sea bass or the steak and the vegetables, because every single restaurant has that available. And this is any time of year, not just Christmas, because you were too afraid of what your friends, family, or partner were going to think, say, or react. Now, if you're living in that place, get some new friends, get a new partner, and well, you can't get some new family, but stop giving so much of a shit about what they think. Because you're basically saying, I put how they feel about me above me, and that'll keep you stuck your entire life. Or you're actually full of crap and you wanted to have the curry, the 4 Christmas meals, the 17 million calories in mulled wine and everything else last week. You chose to do it and you wanted to do it. It wasn't really about them and you feeling uncomfortable. That was your smokescreen as to why you did it. Either way, don't beat yourself up about either of those options. We're all individual. Take ownership, but decide which one it is and what you want. Because what decisions you make in 2025 will either lead to you having the best year of your life or being in exactly the same place as you are right now again. And as I said, you're not going to remember the Christmas dinner that you went to and you asked the restaurant if you could have the sea bass and the medley of green veg because you'd already been to 3 other Christmas dinners that week. You're not going to remember the meal you went to and your knobhead mate Jane took the mickey out of you because you wouldn't drink 2.5 bottles of wine like all of the other people at the table. You're not going to remember that in 12 months. But I'll tell you what, if you're in the same position as now, and you're fat and you're overweight and you're overwhelmed and your energy's low and you're feeling like crap and you've not spent a whole entire year of your life not moving forwards again, I promise you, you're going to remember that. But the part is the things that you said no to, they won't be remembered. Now, if you are starting the year the same place as you started it last year, then you have to ask yourself the questions, why? You know, if you skipped gym all winter, you've basically not really been to the gym to the last 2 months. You've not showed up, you've not trained, you've not done the runs, you've not done the home workouts, you've not done whatever your training plan is because you chose to press snooze and stay in bed, because you didn't show up because it's silly season at work. Whatever reason it is you choose to give yourself as to why you didn't show up for yourself and you put everything else first, then you have to think about why. Do my actions align with the life that I say that I want? Because essentially, if you haven't been able to do the work, if you haven't been able to say no, if you've made the same decisions this year that you made last year, which is why you're in the same place, then again, you have to ask yourself why. Why didn't I make better decisions? Why did I let other people control what I do? Why didn't I invest in myself? Why didn't my actions and behaviors align with what I say that I want? And only you can answer that question. So number one is the decisions that you make and what you say yes or no to will ultimately sculpt your life. Number two is the actions that you take. So decisions will lead to actions. So you make a decision to say yes to 15 different Christmas parties in 1 month, and you decide to eat off plan at 15 different Christmas parties in 1 month, and you decide to drink alcohol at 15 different Christmas parties in 1 month. And on top of that, you decide not to train because it's silly season at work, and you choose Netflix and snoozing in bed over working towards your dreams, then your actions have followed your decisions. The two are obviously related, aren't they? But our actions have to be consistent. And this is going to be the big theme that I'll come on to in all the 15 points. Our decisions and actions have to be consistent with what you say you want. And the inconsistency of good week, good month, bad month, up and down is what keeps most people stuck, because they're good 50% of the time, they convince themselves that they're good all of the time. But when they show up 50% of the time and don't get the results really, really quickly, they convince themselves that they actually showed up 100% of the time because it was a short period, and then get frustrated because they don't see the results that they want. So again, some of you watching this are in the same position. You weigh the same as you did in January. Your body looks the same as it did in January. Your bank account looks the same as it did in January. Your negative habits are the same as they were in January. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you won't have had a lot of periods when you were good, but they've just simply balanced each other out. But you kind of forget about the bad bits and you remember the good bits, and then you feel frustrated. But it's consistently doing the work over 12 months that matters, not the good weeks and the bad weeks. It's the consistency, which is the absolute king of results. So another key thing, and number three that builds into this, is this going too hard too soon. So you kind of work in what bodybuilders would call the bodybuilders do something that's called a blast and a cruise. So they'll hammer themselves, hammer their bodies for a period of time, and then they'll cruise out, and then they'll hammer again, and then they'll cruise. And when this happens in terms of training, in terms of business development, in terms of running, whatever it is, what happens is we do this period where we go all or nothing, and then we hit burnout, and then we can't continue it. And then we go back to where we were until we've recovered, and then we continue. So we need to work hard, but we also need to work as hard as we can at a speed that we can consistently keep up for 12 months. Because if not, we'll live in this crash and burn place where we accelerate really, really fast when motivation's high, i.e. January. So Stoptober, I'm not drinking in January. I'm going to the gym every single day in January. I'm going to stick to my calories every single day in January. Oh, actually, that was way too over the top. And I'd already binned it in by the 15th. And I was at the pub that weekend. And because, again, we tried to do something that wasn't sustainable. So a key hack is to make sure we work hard, but make sure we work hard at a pace that we can sustain. Because if not, then we're just going to go backwards. Now, the fourth point, and again, this is really, really important, and I've seen this habit crop up loads this year, is celebrate your wins. Absolutely. But don't celebrate your wins and then reward yourself with the same very thing that put you in the place you were in the first place. Like, I've literally seen this so much this year that someone works for a period of time, whether it's in their, their business or on their body or any of those things, and they get in a really good place, and it might be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks even. And then, right, I've been so good, like a dog, right? You're not a dog. Don't reward yourself with food. So I've been so good for this 12 weeks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to treat myself out to a full weekend. We're going to a festival. I'm going to get absolutely bladdered. Whatever it is people do, I'm going to go for a weekend away in the lodge with the girls. And, we're going to see if we can literally hit 5,000 calories every day and see how much alcohol we can drink, because I've earned this because I've been good for 12 weeks. And then, boom, Monday morning hits, motivation's low, don't want to train, have a full week off, can't get back into routine, can't seem, people laugh because it sounds familiar, can't seem to get myself going again. No worries, you abused your body for 3 solid days, and on Monday, you wonder why you can't get yourself going. And then week 1 goes into week 2, goes into week 3. So again, reward yourself, but reward yourself with the right things. Don't work hard for 12 weeks and then reward yourself with the very thing that made you feel crap and that you had to work hard to change in the first place. So number 5 is, this is critical. And the amount of people that still don't have it and still don't do it is shockingly worrying. You have to have a plan for each day, for each week, for each month and each quarter. But you don't just have to have a plan. You have to review that plan every day, every week, every month, and every quarter. What did I do well? What did I do well last week? Look at your entire week for last week. What did you do well and what do you need to do more of? And then don't hide away from the mistakes either. What did you do not so well? What did you do not so well last week? What lessons did you learn? And how are you going to fix that moving forwards? So if you didn't train at all last week and you feel like crap as a result, again, don't berate yourself, but don't hide away from it. What did I do not so well last week? Well, I made the decision to not take the action, points 1 and 2, to exercise at all because I chose not to. And it made me feel this way. That's ownership. Then look at what do I need to do next week to improve? So what do I need to do more of and what do I need to do less of? But I promise you this one thing. If you're not planning and reviewing each day, if you're not planning and reviewing each week, if you're not planning and reviewing each month, if you're not planning and reviewing each quarter, you're actually just hiding away from what you don't want to see. And hiding in your bedroom like a 12-year-old boy will never, ever get you anywhere, or girl. You know, I'm just going to run away and hope that nobody notices that I didn't go to the gym last week and that I didn't track food. It's not even about nobody else noticing sometimes. It's about you and your standards, your decisions, your actions, your goals. Because if you don't plan your week, trust me, somebody else will plan it for you. If you don't plan your day, somebody else will plan it for you. If you don't plan your first quarter of 2025, it's highly likely by the 1st of April, you'll be where you were on the 1st of January. Why wouldn't you be? You didn't have a plan not to be. Don't be that person. I don't want that for any of you. Don't drift. Stop drifting through life. Let's get clear on what we want and commit to doing the work towards it, which brings me nicely on to point 6, which is one of the key factors with motivation and goal setting and achieving them is setting boring, mediocre, low-level goals that you know you can achieve. Because deep down, you know they only take a reasonable amount of effort. It takes the same amount of energy to go after big goals than it does small goals. So let's say you set a goal of losing 10 pounds in a month. Well, why not set a goal of losing 20 pounds and really go for it? Do you think maybe you'd lose 10 pounds by default? You know, maybe if you set a goal of you want to make 10K in your business, but you've actually made 10K in your business multiple hundreds of times before. Do you think if you set a goal of making 30K, you'd blitz 10K by default and it would take the same amount of effort? If you set the goal of showing up and training 6 times a week and relentlessly tracking food every single day for 30 days and not making excuses, do you think you'd have a good month and probably hit the goal that you might be setting of playing it safe? Playing it safe will keep you stuck. I'm going to play it safe and go for 3 sessions every week. Stop playing it safe. If you shoot for the stars, you're probably going to still hit very high by default. If you're aiming for average, you'll probably hit poor because we all struggle. So if you aim so far past your goal, you'll probably hit the goal that you would have set by default. So don't set boring goals. They don't make you feel inspired. If you already know how to achieve the goal, or you've already achieved it before, it's not exciting enough. It's not big enough. It's not going to get you out of bed in the morning. Number 7, which will lead on to all of these points. These are all kind of interlinked here when I was planning this. Over focusing on the outcome, over becoming good at the process that leads to it. If you want to make sales, get good at sales. If you want to generate more leads, get good at marketing. If you want to lose weight, get good at running. If you want to really sort your nutrition out, get good at tracking food. If you want to get better at your relationship, focus on how you can improve. Be more compassionate, more understanding, more empathetic, less judgmental. If you want to improve your confidence, get good at talking to new people. Focus on the thing that you need to do rather than the outcome. Because the process will always lead to the prize. But if we're just focused on the prize and we're not, if you're just focusing on the weight you need to lose, you're always going to struggle. Focus on getting good at the actions that you know lead to weight loss. Number 8, which needs nicely in as well, is avoiding challenge and pain. Most of you know what you want. You know what you want financially, you know what you want romantically, you know what you want fitness-wise, you know, you want your body to look, you know the goals that you want to achieve, you know the car that you want to drive, you know the house that you want to live in, you know the life that you want to live. But you're probably almost too afraid to actually state it. Because when you commit to it, you have to let go, 1, of who you've become, 2, the bullshit excuses as to why you keep telling yourself it's not possible, and 3, you have to actually do the fucking work to get it. And it's easier to keep telling the excuses. It's easier to not let go of who you've become, and it's easier to not do the work. So we avoid the pain of challenge. Now, I guarantee you this. Your growth in 2025 is in exact correlation with the amount of challenge you're willing to go through, the amount of uncertainty you're willing to handle, the amount of pain you're willing to push through, the amount of difficult conversations you're willing to have, the amount of times you're willing to say no and give 0 fucks about what the other person's opinion is to your decision. The amount of times you're willing to put yourself first and stop pandering to the needs of others. Stop worrying about what other people think. Because the amount of challenge you go through and how you choose to respond to it and the decisions that you make and the actions that you take, back to points 1 and 2, again, will be in direct correlation with the results that you achieve. If you keep avoiding challenge, you are on a one-way road to nowhere. If you keep avoiding pain, you are on a one-way road to nowhere. If you keep avoiding risk, you are on a one-way road to nowhere. If you keep making decisions based on what you think other people may think, you're on a one-way road to nowhere. Because how we go through, how we respond to pain, setback, disappointment, failure, challenge, and uncertainty, how we respond to it, which is our responsibility. Flip the words. Responsibility is your ability to respond, will shape your future. Your ability to handle challenge will shape your future. Your ability to handle uncertainty will shape your future. Your ability to handle pain, discomfort, and challenge will shape your future. But if we keep making the decisions, and trust me, I've done all of these myself in the last year alone. If we keep quitting when it gets tough, if we keep quitting when we suffer setbacks, if we keep quitting every time we're disappointed, if we keep quitting every time we face big challenges, then we'll never go anywhere. There's people that have actually quit now because they can't handle the accountability of pushing through this period. They would rather not have it, which is okay. I'm totally okay with that. If that's the life that you want. There's people that will quit at this time of year because they are flat embarrassed about their own behavior and they don't want me on their back, which is totally okay if that's the life that you want. But this is what happens when the pressure's on, when the accountability is stepped up, when we're facing challenge, when it gets tough, when we're in a position of pain, when we literally want to run to our bedrooms, put our hands over our eyes and just pray that everything will go away. How we handle that is how you win. So again, back to another point, but number 9. I've probably done this one. I don't even know what the phrase is. Till I'm red in the face, blue in the teeth. One of them. We'll go with both. Putting yourself first. So many of you still do not do this. You pander to the needs of everybody else in your life. Why? Who knows why? Makes you feel good. Mother Teresa syndrome. As long as I'm running around like Mother Teresa, wiping everybody else's asses for them, filling my entire day doing things for other people, often things that don't align with my own goals. Good morning, Pippa. Then I can avoid doing the work myself. I don't have to face challenge because I'm doing everything for everyone else. And we all do this and we do it because it makes us feel good. It's a really normal human behavior, but it's also a massive avoidance tactic. You can say no to your husband or wife. You can say no to your kids. You can say no to your friend who wants to go to the pub every Friday and keep you on her soul-sucking level. You can say no to toxic people. You can say no to festivals, no to holidays. You can say no to anything you choose. And you have to ask yourself that question. Does what I'm about to say yes to align with my vision of my future and my goals? If not, why are you saying yes? Only reason you say yes is avoidance of confrontation, worrying about how other people may respond and what their opinions are, worried about being mocked, being judged, being laughed at. Again, it's a really normal human emotion. Goes right back to early days. If you don't fit in with the tribe, you might be left outside and then you won't be able to eat and then you'll die. So we have an innate need to fit in, to be accepted, to be loved. But again, that will hold you back. And this is the reason why it's not selfish. Where again, we've done this so many times. It's the Ryanair analogy of the gas mask. It's not even wrong. Some people will disagree with this, right? It's not wrong to put yourself before family. It's not wrong to put yourself before business. It's not wrong to put yourself before every single other person in your life. You might disagree with me, but Do your friends and family not need you to be the best you can be for them? That's why it's not selfish. Typical parent guilt. I'll run around doing everything for everyone else and put myself at the bottom of the pile for two reasons. One, it's a great excuse for me not to do the work, which nobody can argue with. Two, as I said, it makes me feel good. But you have to consider if you're tired, run down, stressed, overworked, overweight, overwhelmed, then you're not being the best possible version of yourself for your business or your family. So that's why it's not selfish to put yourself first. You need to be at your best first for them. So this comes from putting your physical health first, putting your mental health first, learning how to say no, and start doing things for you. I've heard this phrase so many times. I don't like doing things for myself. It makes me feel bad. Oh, crap. Come on. It's just easier to do things for other people because that makes you feel good. It's a smokescreen. We all know this. Doing things for yourself doesn't make you feel bad. It's just normally a little bit more uncomfortable. It's a little bit more difficult. Number 10 is probably the biggest one. And I want to come on to this, but I kind of discuss it in point 14 as well. So I'm not going to go over it too long. Thinking you can achieve massive goals without sacrifice. Don't be fooled by the online marketing bullshit. Nothing good comes without hard work. Nothing good comes without discipline. Nothing good comes without sacrifice. Now, to put it into perspective, to initially get the physique that I have, which I've maintained for 2004 to what we are now, 11 years, shredded abs for 11 years. But for the first 2 years, I sacrificed everything. Just like in the first 2 years of building my business, I sacrificed everything. I said no to everything and everyone that didn't align with my goals. And now I can say yes to a lot more because I have the business and I have the body. Once you have the business and you have the body, it's quite easy to maintain it with a little bit more balance. But I didn't get it by being balanced. I got it by eating sea bass and green beans at my own birthday and drinking 2 pints of water and wanting to smash the face in of every single person who was eating burger and chips and drinking beer. But at that time, I had to ask myself a question. Back to point one. Are my actions aligning with what it is I say I want? If I'd just have gone and eaten what I wanted and then probably not trained the next day because I got drunk, that wouldn't have aligned with what I wanted at that time. So we have to understand there will be sacrifice, but not forever. Now you can do 50% sacrifice for maybe the next 5 years and get 50% of the results. Or you can say, I'm going to do a full year of complete sacrifice, saying no to everything that doesn't align and reach your goal 10 times faster. Again, that's a decision. So number 11 is having the courage to fail. If you don't have the courage to fail, you're never going to take the actions that will make you grow. If you don't have the courage to fail, get back up, go again, fail, get back up, go again, learn, apply, What lessons did I learn? How am I going to apply them moving forwards? What do I need to do more of? What do I need to do less of? Why did that go wrong? How can I change it moving forwards? If I don't know, who can I ask for help? Again, running that over and over again. But if you don't have the courage to fail, then you'll never succeed, because you'll never do the things that you need to do to succeed, because you'll be too afraid of failure. I could write a book on the amount of times I failed. Brutal honesty, 2024 hasn't been my best year by a country mile, for all of the reasons that I've actually discussed previously on this live. A lot of my actions and behaviors haven't aligned exactly with what it is I say that I want. But that's ownership. We learn from them and we move forwards and we make new plans. But if you don't have the courage to fail, the courage to be mocked, courage to be laughed at, then you'll never succeed. And here's the big thing, which brings me nicely on to 12.12, is people are going to mock, judge you, and laugh you irrelevant of what you do. You can go to the pub every week and be a pisshead who eats crap and takes the mickey out of themselves for doing it because it's a mask for your insecurities. People are going to judge you and mock you and laugh you for that. Or you can dedicate yourself to your fitness goals and people are going to mock you, judge you, and laugh you for that. People are going to mock, judge, and laugh you if you succeed. They're going to mock, judge, and laugh you if you fail. It's going to happen. It's just human nature. So you may as well do the thing that you want to do and get mocked and judged and laughed at, rather than doing the thing that you don't want to do, and people are going to judge you anyway. Irrelevant of what you do, you're going to get judged, which brings me on to point 12, which is stop caring about what other people think. You maybe need to deeply journal this one out if it's something you still struggle with. Because it's the biggest thing that will hold you back. And it's normally, again, it's another smoke screen. So many of these are smoke screens. I don't have this conversation because I'm worried about how X will react. Well, X's reaction is none of your business. You're not responsible for other people's happiness. They are. And the crazy thing is, very often the decisions and actions that we don't take or make because we're worried about the feelings of someone else, the person whose feelings we're worried about absolutely don't give a flying SH1T about ours. So operate from a position with, am I okay with the decision that I'm about to make? If so, do it. Because there's two things. Either you have an inappropriate need to be accepted and validated and for people to be okay with how you're behaving, or again, it's another smoke screen. Because really, other people's opinions are none of your business. As long as you're okay with the actions that you take and the decisions that you make, then be okay with it. Stand by it. That's authenticity. There's a full training on that when people said to me, how do I be more authentically? It's effortless. You don't need to try. What you're really saying is, how do I be less insecure and stop wearing a mask? How do I stop being someone that I'm not? Because authenticity is effortless. I'm being effortlessly authentic now. I'm not even thinking about what's coming out of my mouth, because I don't care. People are going to love me or hate me irrelevant of what I say. I'm not in control of that. But if you're not being authentic, i.e., you're not being yourself because you're wearing a mask because of your insecurities and you're worried about what other people think, it's either two reasons. Either they're not the right people and you just need to let go of it, or it's actually all in your own head and it's your ego. Because here's the truth bomb. Most people don't care about you enough to even have an opinion about anything that you're doing. because half of them are too worried about what everyone's thinking about them. It's just our ego. Who's ever done that when you have a conversation that you like a difficult conversation that you need to have and you build it up in your own head for so long and so long, and then you have the conversation and the other person goes, yeah, fine, no worries. That's cool. Thanks for letting me know. Like, but you create your own pain for like however many weeks. Like, don't have an inappropriate need for other people to be on the same page as you. Don't have an inappropriate need for people to support your missions, your values, and your goals. Just be okay with you and be okay with them. Number 13, before we come on to the last two, which are the big ones with some questions. Number 13 is using the self-belief excuse. That is a key factor that holds everyone back and that you need to drop in 2025 if you want world-class results. You don't need to believe in yourself, and you definitely don't need anyone else to believe in you. It's just another excuse for avoiding the work, just like being afraid of failure. That I used the example with that award. Elite X Coach of the Year 2022. Not in a second did I believe that I could achieve that award. There was people in that business group who were making 200K a month. People that had businesses with 400-500 employees. You know, it was a big, big league award. And I didn't believe I could achieve it to the level that I wasn't going to the award ceremony. Until Paul rang me 3 days before and said, how could you possibly get yourself the fuck to self shields on Friday, because you might possibly have won an award that you might possibly want to accept. Didn't believe I could do it, but showed up and did the work. Emma Raducanu, tennis player, is the other amazing example. She didn't believe she could win the Grand Slam. Her entire team and her had their flights booked home after the quarterfinals. What did she do? She just showed up. She kept hitting balls. She became a Grand Slam winner. She didn't believe she could achieve it. Stop thinking you need to believe you can achieve it. I'm going to wrap all this up in a final point because a lot of it is quite contradictory. Belief is great. It's a tool in the thing, but it's not the difference between winning or losing. Doing the work is. Making the right decisions, making sure they align, taking the actions, saying no, having a plan, everything that we've discussed, which I'll recap in these last 2 points. That's what's important. Not confidence, not self-belief, not motivation, not inspiration. It's all about making sure your actions and decisions align with what it is you say you want. And if they don't, you don't want it as much as you say you do, which is okay if that's the life you want. But I think because of the very reason you're watching this video, you do want more. You just keep getting swayed by life. So the actions and decisions that we make if we want to succeed in 2025, over and above all of these points, they have to align with what we say we want. You can't say you want your dream body and not track your food every day. You can't say you want your dream body and not go to the gym at least 5 times a week or run. You can't say you want your dream body and not even check in and hold yourself accountable and do your photos each week. You can't say you want your dream business but not be willing to show up on social media because you're afraid of what people think about you. You can't say you want your dream life, dream partner, dream car, dream house, dream whatever, but keep making actions and decisions that categorically don't align with that. You all know what I'm talking about. So we have to think about these actions and decisions. We can't want abs and keep skipping the gym. We can't want money but keep avoiding marketing and sales calls. We can't want to feel fresh and recovered, ready for the next week, but keep going out and getting on it every weekend. As I said, sacrifice 2 years for the body. And the decision and action that I've asked myself is, have I actually sacrificed the same level to my business? And the answer is no. Do my actions align with what I want? No. But they're going to next year, and you're going to see a big, big shift. Now, again, when I've journaled this, here's a truth bomb. Does training to run 200 miles and physically fucking myself into the middle of next week and potentially ruining my body with an injury that's now probably never ever going to recover, did that align with my business goals last year? Or was it quite a nice distraction because I like running and I like attention and I like being on TV and I like being validated? This is called honesty and ownership, guys. You have to call yourself out. It's easier for me to spend hours and hours and hours training than it is for me to spend hours and hours and hours learning about marketing. So guess what I did? I did the training. I did the runs. Love, beautiful distraction. Up to 100 miles a week some week of not having to work on my business because I was just out happily running. So it has to align. And that's, i.e., what I'll be doing this year. No stupid physical challenges. Yes, I'm going to stay fit and healthy. I have to practice what I preach. But I also can't keep saying, I want the £1 million turnover. I want the dream life. I want these things in my life in regards to my business, and keep doing a whole ton of things that don't align with that, which ultimately I did in 2024. That's what I journaled this morning. So we can't set massive goals in body and business or body and business and then do behaviors that completely don't align with them. And this is why it's so powerful, right? Because when we set the goals, when we visualize, this is why I said it's going to sound so contradictory. We can do all the goal setting in the world, all the visualization, all the meditations, all the journaling, all the daily plans, weekly plans, monthly plans, quarterly plans, the huge picture of the dream villa over there, the vision boards, the manifestation, sitting here watching this live video. But if we don't do the work and our actions and behaviors don't align with what it is we say we want, the entire fucking theory is screwed and absolute bullshit. You can sit manifesting all you want. If you keep eating crap, you're not going to manifest your dream body. You can meditate all you want. If you keep drinking wine every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, your mental health's always going to be fucked because your energy will be. You can visualize your dream outcome, dream partner, dream car, dream villa, dream whatever, manifest it, visualize it, plan it, journal it, tattoo it on the backs of your eyes, create a vision board. Do all the things that we're told to do, and we all do. And I'm not saying they're not important. They do have their place within it. But if we don't consistently do the work, they're not goals. If we don't have a plan, they're not goals. It's just a dream. It's literally a wishy-washy, wet fart manifestation, never ever going to happen, story and thing we like to do to make ourselves feel motivated and good about it. Because all of it, every single part of it, is completely pointless if the actions and decisions don't align. The end. So set the goals, manifest the goals, visualize the goals, do all of the things, but don't spend too long spending on it. What fucking ever word, whatever. Because you might spend your whole life manifesting. You might spend your whole life vision boarding, meditating, goal setting, dreaming, writing things down. And before you know it, you'll have manifested yourself towards your death. Actions and decisions, behaviors are what drives outcomes. Deadlines drive decisions, which is going to lead us nicely onto the questions. But we need to set the goal. We need to create the plan. Then we need to forget the goal because we're so focused on just executing the plan. My goal is set for 2025. I'm not sharing it with anyone, but I've recorded a 3.5 minute long video of what it is. Now I'm setting the plan to make that a reality. Yearly, 6 month, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. And then I need to execute like a motherfucker every day. Not on days when I feel like it. Not on days when motivation's high. Every day for 12 months. And make it happen. And make sure that every day my actions and behaviors align with what it is I say that I want. And I'm that focused on executing that I actually forget about the outcome. Because if I execute, the outcome will take care of itself. Now, a quick point before we wrap up on the questions. You might want to pause and write the questions down because they're really important. If you're watching it on replay, I'll go back. I'll upload it as fast as I can. We all need to stop doing this, guys. You probably know what it is. It's not scrolling, but we all need to stop doing that as well. You have to stop moaning, blaming, complaining, and justifying anything in your life. Relationships, business, fun, finance, family, kids. Just stop. It achieves nothing. The only reason we moan, blame, complain, justify is to make ourselves feel better. If you're not where you are, not where you want to be versus what you set out in 2025, this is going to hurt. Same for me, and it hurt me. You just simply didn't do the work. The end. Case closed. Your decisions and actions didn't align with what you said you wanted. You didn't show up as best you could. You made excuses, you blamed, you complained, you justified. The amount of time I've probably wasted moaning this year is beyond comprehension. The amount of time I've spent blaming this year is beyond comprehension. Justifying, making my life other people's fault. At points, I think I could have even have given a paracetamol a headache. But we all do it. Most of you have probably heard me moan at some point, but we learn, we move forwards. But I guarantee you, if you're not where you want to be on the 1st of January, 2025 versus the 1st of January, 2024, and you're not going to be where you say you're going to be right now on the 1st of January, 2026, you didn't show up. You didn't do the work. Your actions, behaviors, and habits didn't align with what you say you want. So if we're failing, and this was the truth bomb that was handed to me by someone else and also handed to me by myself and fully accepted this week, if you're failing in any area of life, stop looking anywhere else apart from at yourself. It's harsh, guys, but we all need to do it, and I need to do it. Because the only person that's responsible for your results is you. We can make it about our coaches or our partners or the support we didn't get or what happened in the past or who let us down or what happened and how we were treated. And we can look everywhere we can in the world to find some way to feel better about the fact we didn't do the work. That's where the blaming, complaining, and justifying comes in. But it'll always keep us stuck. It's just wasted energy. If you failed in any way this year, the only place you need to look is at yourself. So let's wrap it up. Truth bomb city, that wasn't it? I needed to hear every single one of those myself, and every single one of them was completely relevant to me and what I'm honestly going to describe as an underperforming year. You have to be open and honest about the bad years as well as the good years, you know? So questions I want everyone to ask themselves going into 2025 is number one, am I clear on my vision? If you don't have clarity on what you want out of next year, you are foobarred before you even start. You can't hit a goal or a life that you can't see. By the way, foobarred stands for fucked up beyond all recognition. It's a military phrase, in case you're wondering what it was. Doing great at the not swearing on lives. Number two, once we've got absolute clarity on the vision. So just if you don't, just stop everything. Stop everything in your life this week. Take a couple of hours out, go to a coffee shop, go and sit somewhere, move away from life and get clarity on what it is that you want. If you don't have that, you're never, ever going to succeed. Never, ever. Because you don't even know what you want. How can you work towards something if you don't know what it is? Question number two is, do I have a bulletproof 12-month plan to get there? Again, if you don't, you're foobarred. Because what you've done is you've created the perfect destination, which is getting clear on your vision. This is how I want my family to look. This is how I want my relationship to look. This is how I want my business, my body, everything in my life. I break it down into different areas. So fun and experiences, family, finance, fitness, and focus. So what am I focused on? How do I want my finances to look? What fun do I want to have? Please, for the love of God, don't forget that one. What experiences do I want to have? How do I want my fitness to look? How do I want my intimate relationships to be? My personal relationships? But then do I have a bulletproof plan to get that? Because if you don't, you basically, you put the destination in the sat nav and then you switch the sat nav off because it creates a road back. So we have to have a roadmap for 2025. You can't just manifest and say what you want and not have a roadmap to get there. So step one, are you clear on your vision? If not, get clear on it. Step two, do you have a bulletproof roadmap to get there that you can stick to every single day? If not, that's what you need next. Number three is asking yourself every day, do my actions, decisions, behavior, and environment align with my vision and my plan? If not, you need to change them. Or you're going to spend your whole life in the same place. And number four, which is the difficult one. So if they don't, what decisions do you need to make? And this is critical. What are the deadlines on those decisions? Indecision creates chronic anxiety and literally keeps you paralyzed because all you're thinking about is the decision that you need to make and you haven't. And if you're not careful, you'll spend the entire year thinking about that decision and not making it. Thinking about having that conversation, but not saying it. Thinking about leaving that job, but not doing it. Think about leaving that relationship, but not leaving it. To the level where it will cripple you. And I've done this personally. What decisions do I need to make towards 2025 being the best year of my life? And what are the deadlines on those decisions? It's like the manifesting without taking the action. Tell me, tell yourself what the decisions are that you need to make about your life to move forward and set deadlines on when you are making those decisions. Because as I said, indecision will drive failure. And indecision is what creates anxiety. Indecision is what creates procrastination. Indecision is what creates overwhelm, overthinking, stress, worry, everything. Decide what you need to do and do it. Guys, this is the last one before Christmas. So if I don't see you or speak to you in person, have a great Xmas. I love you all. Stay unbreakable. I'll see you on the next video.